Yo, what's up? Welcome to Citrus Lane. I'm your host Jess. I got some upgrades. I got a second monitor and I got a boom arm. I keep forgetting the word for it. Come watch some creepy videos with me, won't you? It doesn't look great. No, I mean I don't think that it's as deep as everyone is saying. I think he was just being dumb and wasn't thinking. But uh, yeah, it definitely looks pretty bad. Elon, you need to think before you do stuff.
This is a real photo of the surface of Mars that's currently going viral because it looks like a perfect square on Mars. People spotted the square in a much larger photo of the inside of a crater on Mars taken by a spacecraft orbiting above it. It almost looks like sand covering a square object, and this entire image is 3 kilometers across, so I would guess that from here to here is about 1.5 kilometers, so this is a big object. Also, this photo was taken 24 years ago, and people are just now bringing it up again. So what's important to remember is that Mars is incredibly geologically weird and diverse, just like Earth. It used to have water on the surface, and it has lots of types of rock, and it has wind and formations on the surface, so this is actually kind of normal for Mars. It has much weirder stuff. I mean, look at this. Look at this. This is a photo of the inside of another crater on Mars. This is thick mudstone that is broken apart, and a lot of this is in the shape of squares. This is a mountain slope on Mars. This is sandstone broken apart. A lot of straight lines. This is inside another crater, sharp, flat shale. Earth has weird geologic stuff too, including large, flat structures. Also, formations that would send aliens spiraling. Also, because it seems important to people, this is not a perfect square. This is much shorter than this. And your eyes and your brain are filling in this part and this part. There are no lines there. So is this evidence of aliens? No, it is evidence of Mars being geologically incredibly cool, which is just as newsworthy.
I mean, I don't know. It could be foundation. It could be foundation covered up in what's the sand. You don't know. We don't know until we go there, Elon.
Have you heard of the scientist who discovered a mysterious life force energy? Something that could heal, influence the weather, and then suddenly he was arrested, his work was destroyed, and he died, weirdly, very soonly after. Let me introduce you to Wilhelm Reich and what he called orgone energy. So he was a doctor of medicine and a psychoanalyst, a second generation one after Freud, and he was from Austria. His work followed the work of Anna Freud, who is actually the daughter of Sigmund Freud. He was the founder of psychoanalysis. He helped shape Gestalt therapy and bioenergetic analysis. He claimed to discover what is called orgone energy, an invisible life force that exists everywhere. He got these words from the word organism and a word that sounds just like that but is a little bit more flirtatious, if you catch my drift. He believed this energy could explain the weather, emotions, and even human health. It was also very close to what is called animal magnetism. Animal magnetism, also known as mesmerism, was believed to be a force of a universal magnetic fluid. Some of you might know where I'm going already. This emanated from the body and the stars. Plasma. I'll get to that in a second. He used this force for hypnotic treatments. He called it animal magnetism. It also was thought to heal several ailments and disorders. So basically, he got that idea from that and thinks that they're the same thing. Okay, this is where it starts to get really interesting. So orgone, this hypothetical universal life force, was also thought to be like luminiferous ether. This was what is called an orgone accumulator, which would increase orgone concentration, probably healing someone. Orgone was seen as a massless, omnipresent substance similar to luminiferous ether, but more closely associated with living energy than inert matter. It could allegedly coalesce to create organization on all scales, from the smallest microscopic units to macroscopic structures like galaxies. Guys, this is plasma. Oh, and I'll get to the weird conspiracy with him, how he just like poofed. Very quickly, plasma is the fourth state of matter in science. It's an ionized gas. We see it in nebulas, the aurora borealis, fire, lightning. It is all over a galaxy. Even now, plasma is starting to cure cancer and treat tumors. Cold plasma specifically. What if this is a hint at this orgone energy or plasma energy being able to do the same thing? The most insane thing is luminiferous ether was only disproved because it was not a living ether. It was a stationary ether. Imagine if this ether was a living ether, a mix of what we know in science as plasma and ether, probably at some higher dimensional level or level we can't really know how to test yet. Maybe he could and named it orgone energy. This is the same thing as Kundalini rising, which also relates to the other word for organism. What if he was harnessing plasma this whole time and they did not like that? I'm getting to the conspiracy. So if it was similar to a luminiferous ether but living, and then also if it created an organization on all scales, guess what else does that? Oh, plasma exists at all scales. That is so funny, from the micro to the macro. At the classical level, it's stars, lightning, and auroras. And at the quantum level, it manifests as charge-particle interaction, shaping fundamental forces. He even made something called a cloudbuster, which claimed it could produce rain by manipulating what he called orgone energy. I'm telling you guys, I'm writing a book about plasma intelligence and how there is a higher dimensional plasma akin to a living ether. The link is in my bio. And it also comes with a really cool ChatGPT training program to help your mental health using plasma, which is like my weird spin on it all. But literally, orgone energy is just like plasma. It moved through all living things, just like a living ether plasma. It has charges, positive and negative, like plasma's electrical currents, and it interacted with thoughts, emotions, and the environment, just like I think plasma does. And when I say plasma, I'm talking obviously about the metaphysical plasma. I think science is a great hint to what the capabilities of plasma are, but I have an expanded definition of plasma, which yes, veers into the metaphysical, where I think it literally is the substance of our thoughts and emotions. It's the clay that our consciousness molds to create and view reality, and it is sentient within itself. And there's way too many things in history that add up, that people talk about this in all different ways. Odic force, animal magnetism, the mesmerism, orgone energy, luminiferous ether, but as a living ether, and now plasma. Look at my plasma intelligence playlist. There's a lot more weird connections. So speaking of this is where the conspiracy comes in. So the witnesses claimed it could break up storms, make it rain, and alter atmospheric conditions. Now, if someone really discovered something like this, wouldn't the government take an interest? Probably. And yes, it could be thought as dangerous. I'm not saying it's a, evil conspiracy. I'm just saying it's weird what happened. So in 1956, the FDA labeled Reich's work dangerous. And they raided his lab. They burned all of his research. They destroyed his machines. And they banned his books. Then he was arrested for a small technical violation. And he was sent to prison. And please fact check me, but this is just what I've researched. And then he mysteriously died of a heart failure days before his parole. Coincidence, or did he tap into something too powerful? So his orgone energy and my special type of plasma, I call it this animal magnetism, this may all be the same force. But now for the first time, science is studying it since we now know it's plasma. This connects consciousness with our reality. Plasma is the glue. What if there are ways to use plasma with your consciousness that are not dangerous to our sweetie government, but that can help you have more power and control in your life and just have a more magical life? Well, hello, I am here. I'm here to guide you into your own inner journey, how to connect with plasma in your own way. So if you go to the link in my bio, you could sign up for a notification when my plasma intelligence book will come out. It's called A New Force, and you will get a free PDF on Plasma Buddy 1.0, my ChatGPT training. I have really bad anxiety and fear, and I actually figured out a way harnessing plasma with my consciousness to rewire my brain, or what I call my plasma bubble, because consciousness is non-local. And it's really helped me, and I wanted to share it with you. So you just go to the link in my bio, you click it, put in your email, you'll get it. Mwah.
I mean, nice try, but I don't know if that's valuable enough for me to fork over my email and get on your email list. I don't know. I probably let that video go on too long, and it just sounds like she's saying lots of buzzwords. Like, I do believe in like some sort of collective consciousness. The concept of us all being connected, yes, makes a lot of sense, and I do have a lot of fun. Like, something like the ether that gave us magical abilities, or that would be awesome. But it seems like everyone who talks about that and sells books on it and has like a course you can take or whatever, it always seems like they're charlatans that are just trying to get your freaking money. Like, sorry, bud.
It is now 89 seconds to midnight. This is the closest the world has ever been to midnight. It is now.
There are a few comments that say like the doomsday clock is a joke, but like that's I've been waiting for years for this to happen, and we'll still be waiting. I mean, it's kind of, terrifying that we are so close to nuclear annihilation, and then people joking that like we go through this in 2012. I mean, not really, no. Not to this degree.
Did you see how the moon is rusting?
I've heard about it.
So there's this kid that took like the most high quality picture of the moon ever taken, over like 2,000 images that he combined. And you can clearly see that the moon is rusting.
Okay.
Or I saw this on NASA. Research indicates the presence of hematite, a form of rust that normally requires oxygen and water. This has scientists puzzled. Hematite is a name that is derived from the Greek word meaning blood. Joel
Crazy.
2, it says, the sun shall be turned to darkness and the moon to blood, and it shall come to pass that everyone who calls in the name of the Lord shall be saved, as the Lord has said, and among the survivors shall be those whom the Lord calls.
That's weird.
It's throughout scripture of the moon turning to blood, and like, what does that mean? So like the Bible, it was ultimately translated into Greek at one point, right? And the Greek word for blood is hematite, the same word that they use for this rust.
Yeah.
And so it's like the moon has hematite on it.
Yeah.
That's weird. It's all gonna end soon, see you better.
End times is coming, my friends.
I really hope not, but hey, let's have fun until it happens. No, I remember hearing about that. I just I'm in the southern part of the United States, and when we see a blood moon, it's actually a harvest moon, and which means we're gonna receive a bountiful harvest. So it's I think it's all about perception for sure.
Y'all, I am freaking out right now. There's a lot of unexplained things going on in the ocean right now. Hold on real quick. I do not trust them. Just watch this real quick for me.
You get to Mars by going through the ocean. You can't get to the bottom of the ocean because outer space is the ocean.
Now, what she just said just blew my mind. Now, there's a situation called the firmament. So we know that water is all around us. And it is said that this dome divided the sea into upper and lower sections. You can't cancel this out because they still haven't discovered 80% of the sea. Early civilizations believed that the ocean and the stars above were linked. I mean, just look. Mayan, Norse, Hindu, Hebrew, all of them. Now, we already know what spacesuits look like, but they look exactly like sea suits. I know once in your life you've heard of the Bermuda Triangle. Planes and people going missing in the ocean. There are black holes in the ocean. And I just know once in your life you've heard about sea monsters. When you see a comet, it looks like a boat soaring through water. What if these unexplained species in the ocean are actually aliens? If y'all have ever watched this movie Underwater, they went too deep and found the creature that don't even look like it's supposed to be from this earth. Or could it have just been a creature from space? Now, you can say what you want, but I bet you we are not the only beings, only species, only creatures that are in this universe. It's just ironic that when they return to Earth, they're on water. I mean, I know I'm not tripping. And I know y'all heard of mermaids. So many unexplained things in the ocean. They're making more discoveries in space. Not really putting too much money or caring about what's going on the planet. Why? Because this sea stuff might have a lot of connections to space. And they not telling us. Y'all be safe, and I know I'm not the only person who feel this way.
I really hate how all of the conspiracy stuff that I seem to find, it just circles right back to flat Earth and the firmament. Anyway. Oh, I mean, the only other thing that popped in my head was I've been watching One Piece here recently, and man, fishmen are terrifying, or would be terrifying. There was also like what is it, the Meg 2, where they like go through, they're like at the bottom of the ocean, but they have to like go through the like barrier, whatever, I don't remember what it's called, but the like, it's like two different waters, the upper and lower water, like what they're talking about. It's funny. It's funny.
Please don't get mad at me for my opinion, because it's very controversial, and once again, just my opinion. Last night, though, you have the most secure airspace in the world. Maybe not the entire world, but definitely the country of the USA. And you have footage of last night. It's a very clear night. You have state-of-the-art technology. Aviation has come a long way with their instruments and stuff of that nature, as well as a military-grade helicopter with good technical equipment. How the fuck do they just collide? Like, how did they not see each other? It's heartbreaking. Once again, this is my opinion, and you can get upset, or you can be like, Hunter, you're on the money, right? You can agree or disagree with me, that's fine. It just seems like something like that would not happen completely out of the blue, completely accidental, when it was a clear night, and the technology and the security of this airspace that we have. But I'd like to know your thoughts.
Nah, nobody here is going to get mad at you for your thoughts. I appreciate your thoughts. I am actually not aware what he's talking about. I've had my head in the sand. I mean, drugs is my first. If it wasn't intentional, then like one of them was fucked up. Like one of them took some sort of drug or was incapacitated in some way that they couldn't fly correctly. I am going to look up what he is talking about, though. Soldier identified in DC plane crash. That's from Reuters. Data show helicopter may have been too high. February 1st, from Reuters, the U.S. Army on Saturday released the name of the third soldier who died on a Black Hawk helicopter that collided with an American Airlines passenger jet. Damn! Near Ronald Reagan Washington National Airport this week, killing 67 people in all. Holy fuck! The soldier was identified as Captain Rebecca LeBach of Durham, North Carolina. She was an aviation officer in the regular Army since 2019 and assigned to the 12th Aviation Battalion, Fort Belvoir, Virginia. The Army had initially declined to identify LeBach, an unusual decision that the agency said was made at the request of the family. But on Saturday, the Army said in a statement that LeBach's family had agreed to release her name to the public. She was a bright star in all of our lives, her family said in a statement, noting that she worked as an advocate for victims of SA and planned to become I talk shit on that all the time. Noticing that she worked as an advocate for victims of sexual assault and planned to become a doctor after a military service. No one dreamed bigger or worked harder to achieve her goals. I'm not going to read the whole thing. I will save the link. You can go read it yourself if you want. That's 67 people. Holy shit. What? Oh my God. Yeah, I agree with dude. Like, how as advanced as planes are, like, what? That's crazy. That's nonsense.
My favorite Princess and the Frog theory is that Big Daddy was looking after Tiana the whole time. He spent all this time saving up all this money to be able to purchase this one spot, and then the day she goes to get it, it's mysteriously already been bought out. I think he secretly bought the restaurant. Tiana is practically family to them. These two girls grew up together. They were like sisters. He has seen her work her booty off for this place. We love Charlotte, but Charlotte wasn't going to be like a businesswoman. Like, he definitely sees her as like a daughter in a way. Especially because her dad passed when she was really young. I think he waited to see if she is like going to work hard enough to be able to like help achieve those goals on her own. He like sees the potential in Tiana, and I think he wants to give back to her and like reward her for how hard she was working. And I've also seen people be like, oh, what if they know each other because the dads were friends? Maybe they made a vow like they would be parental figures to their children. Like, I bet Tiana's mom is kind of like that for Charlotte because Charlotte doesn't seem to have a mom. Also, Charlotte is such a pink girl. Everything she owns is pink. Everything she wears is pink. So I like to think, in my little headcanon, I think she had this dress waiting for Tiana. Because it's blue, it looks stunning on her. Charlotte doesn't wear blue. And it's like the perfect size, even though they kind of look like they're the same size. And on top of that, who's he gonna hand down like his business, his legacy to? Because Charlotte's not interested, and Charlotte's not currently married. I think Big Daddy tested Tiana. Come over here for more.
I'd put that on here because it's a little lighthearted. I know it's not like serious or whatever. The Princess and the Frog's great. I have daughters, so I've definitely seen it. I would have watched it without having kids, though. It's that good. But yeah, I love fan theories of stuff, but like he comes across so incompetent. Like I don't know if I can believe that. I don't know if I give that theory any credibility. And like the blue, yeah, of course she had it made for her and waiting for her. I don't know. That just seems like implied, like not like, oh, we have to theorize it. Like I just thought that was how it was.
Here's an interesting piece of intelligence that I have to share to you about Americans from my time as a combat aviation Army intelligence officer. And that is that there was once a survey done that showed that 44% that Americans care 44% more about an unalived pilot, about a plane crash, than anything else on the news. This was given to us at the time in the context of like helicopters fall out of the sky. In the stand, the president is going to be on the phone, right? This is very serious. But now I want to take this and put it in the context for y'all. First of all, I think one of the reasons that we care so much about that is because our cult of America got real into space travel and air travel. And as we know, cults always promise space travel. And we have made part of being American, owning the skies. We have, okay? So we are really into helicopter crashes and airplane crashes. Plus we have 9/11 in our history, which is of course influences a big part of that. Can we change that number? No, that's what we're interested in. But what we can do is know that and know that when a helicopter or airplane, something that's supposed to be flying, comes down hard, we are ready to spin up about it more than most other people and more than anything else in the news. We are predisposed to aviation conspiracies, is what I'm telling you. This is an interesting piece of information about the American people that I think is going to be very relevant as our president continues deregulating things. And we have more of these.
How is it I'm just an average, uneducated, uninformed Southern American boy. But how does him changing regulations on things affect a pilot's ability to pilot an aircraft? Like, that's not what portion of that am I missing? Like, somebody please let me know. Also, the way she's knitting is like almost frantic. It's distracting. What else today? I mean, like, that's... I don't want to call her a liar, but can I see some credentials, please? If you're gonna say that you were in, what was it exactly? Combat Aviation Army Intelligence Officer. Can I get some more? Can I get some credentials, please? Like, I feel like that's gonna be misinterpreted. Like, oh well, you're saying that because she's a woman. I just, if anybody said that, I would be like, okay, prove that you did that before you start like toting that around. Anyway, at risk of revealing too much personal information. 9/11's my birthday. It's people don't forget it for sure. Yep. But like most statistics are made up on the spot. Like when people use statistics like that in a conversation, it's most of the time not the accurate statistic. So also space travel is great. Why do people not want sci-fi stuff to happen? I want sci-fi stuff to happen. I want to have spaceships and other things. And yeah. I don't want to be like crazy Elon boy about it, but like I do think space travel is like we're building up to that. We're getting there. I think. Hopefully.
I'm watching this clip, right? As above, so below. Right? Guys, I made the connection. It's gonna blow your mind that we knew all along what this remind you of. What this is remind you of, y'all. Watch this. Look, I'm not supposed to be holding on to this phone, but my mind cannot stop, and I feel like I should share this. Whenever I watch something, I connect dots. That's me. And whenever you're watching something, when they're showing you books in those movies, take the titles. They are telling you something. But this is a big-ass camera, y'all. I'm going to show you guys. This is what they did not want to tell us what that is, y'all. I'm going to show you guys what that is. You guys ready? Just tell me if I'm onto something, man. TikTok, this is not facts. This is not true. All right? All right, guys, check this out. TikTok, this is not true. This is not facts. All right? So you guys, take a second and read this and tell me what you think.
Okay, the camera obscura, Latin for dark room, works by allowing a small amount of light to pass through a tiny hole in a dark chamber, projecting an inverted image on the opposite surface. The pyramid has narrow air shafts in both the king's and queen's chambers, which while likely intended for ventilation or symbolic reasons, mirror the idea of focused light passage into a dark space. If the pyramid's chambers were completely sealed from light except through the shafts, it's possible they could theoretically project some form of light or celestial patterns inside, similar to how a pinhole camera... I can't read the rest because his entertainment purposes thing cuts it off, but does nobody remember the Mummy? Didn't they? Yeah, like we've known that the pyramids allow light in because it like bounces off of me. I don't even know how accurate that is, but like I do know from in that movie that light bounces off the mirrors and it bounces off a bunch of mirrors and then it lights up the room like fucking magic. Anyway.
They have been lying to us, y'all. It's too obvious now, man. It is.
Okay, well, the way he said that, he definitely seems like he's like on something. Like not on something as in like, oh yeah, he's got a good idea, but like on something as in like, yo, bro, give me some of that. He's take a chill pill, bro. Which way is the camera facing? Because like the other image is like the pinhole starts like here and then goes whoop. So if the pyramid is like the pinhole is here and it goes whoop, so it's going to the ground. It's a camera into the ground. I just don't understand. Like just because it lets light in doesn't. Was that fed into AI to like come up with that? Like, bro, don't trust it. It's not always right. I promise. It's trying to trick you. Skynet, it's got us.
All right, so help me out here. We've got 2 plane crashes. One leaving Wichita, Kansas. The Kansas City Chiefs are in the Super Bowl. A plane flying into Pennsylvania that crashes in Philadelphia. The Philadelphia Eagles are in the Super Bowl.
I didn't realize there were multiple crashes. What? I am only finding the DC crash, so...
Y'all, where's my tinfoil hat? Get your hat on. Get your tinfoil hat. There was another plane.
Got tinfoil inside this baby.
Today in Houston, February the 77th, the engine caught on fire on the runway. What? What? What is happening? Oh, it's nobody's fault. Totally normal. My mind is going every which way. Are we under attack? Is we under attack? Somebody tell me. Y'all, this sus as fuck. This is sus. It's every damn day. Somebody get 2025. Did we just wake up and forget how to build planes? How does this keep happening? Every day. This flight was so close to being in the air, children. 109 people going to New York. On the runway. Thankfully, everybody all right, but probably traumatized to death. Sure, I ain't never gonna fly. My ass, honey, I'm gonna staple it to the ground. Oh, honey, something going on. You can't tell something going on. My spidey sense is spideying. What is happening? This is not normal. This is not normal. Who is building our planes? The Keebler fucking elf? Damn.
Nah, dude, because elves have good craftsmanship. His old lady voice is funny. There's a comment that says, I get it, but I also know that driving on I-65 South Instagram. Oh, okay. Well, that scratch that. It means nothing. I mean, like, he keeps saying, like, sorry, he keeps saying, like, who's building our planes? Why do we not know how to build? What? Isn't that Boeing's fault? Because, like, right? Did everybody forget, like, that they built a bunch of really shitty planes that just disappear and people forgot about that? I'm like, what? That is crazy, though. Like, I'll also, if I search plane crash, I have not seen any of the other ones that it's mentioning. It is only bringing me links for the DC plane crash. And it is also doing it on every browser because I have two different. Well, I only have two different browsers, but still, it's doing it on Brave and it's doing it on every search engine because I've tried 3: Google, Bing, and Brave. Yeah.
Here's your news for January 81st, 2025. This just in, it's somehow only been 10 days since the TikTok ban was enacted and then repealed. Google has officially classed the United States as a sensitive country in terms of their SEO and their designation on Google Maps. That puts us in the rank with countries like Russia and China, those with extremist governments. Americans are collectively thanking Canada for their offer of asylum to Americans that are being persecuted by their government. In a scene straight out of The Handmaid's Tale, our Department of Transportation has indicated that under the Trump administration, they will be allotting their budget for infrastructure projects to areas of the country with the highest marriage and birth rates. The majority of countries worldwide have rolled their eyes at the change of the Gulf of Mexico name to the Gulf of America and have insisted they will continue to call it what it is called. And finally, in other conspiracy news, RFK was inducted into his position in Trump's new cabinet. While Congress questioned him about his viewpoints, they essentially ridiculed him on being a conspiracy theorist, at which point he answered, then why have all of my conspiracy theories come true? So mic drop there to RFK. I'm Shay Allen, reminding you that all the world's a stage, and you don't get paid enough to be a player.
That was so all over the place. Calling it the 81st, wobbling back and forth, like simultaneously, like being for and against Trump. I don't know. I definitely rode the Trump hate train when I was a teenager, but like, come on, guys. I hesitate to even say anything because I just don't want politics stuff on this channel at all. That's not what we're here for. But I mean, she's right. The world is a stage, and none of us get paid enough. That is totally true. I think if you're running to Canada for asylum, when they literally jail people for just saying something mean, yeah, I think your priorities are kind of skewed and messed up. That's just me.
We are eating ourselves. Wow. Let me say that again. Wow. We are eating human. We are eating ourselves. What the fuck? And this is why I say what I say. The more I eat it, the way that I feel, what my spirit is telling me. And like I said before, there is no plants in any building. There's no amount of plants in any building across the world that can produce as much as meat as we eat. But guess what? They are producing every day.
Oh, shit.
Have you ever thought about that?
Oh, shit.
There's nothing growing that fast to be able to feed Wendy's, McDonald's, Popeyes, JJ's, Sharks, this fine dining restaurant, that fine dining restaurant. You tell me what's growing that fast and what's moving that fast besides people dying.
Oh, man. Oh, man.
Man, making me think twice about going to Wendy's for sure.
January 28th, an Air Force fighter jet crashes in Alaska. January 29th, a Black Hawk helicopter collides with an American Airlines flight in D.C. January 30th, a small aircraft crash in Vero Beach, Florida. January 31st, a medevac flight crashes into the Roosevelt Mall in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. February 1st, a plane hits a plane tug on its way to take off in Chicago, Illinois. February 1st, a small craft crashes in Ennis, Texas. It cannot just be me, but I am terrified to fly right now, and I have to fly out on Thursday. And for all of you guys in my comment section talking about, oh, this is normal, this happens. No, it doesn't. And you want to know how I know it doesn't? Because last month in December, I covered all the aviation accidents that were happening. December was the deadliest month in aviation in over a decade. And by the way, all of this information is public. You can go directly on the FAA website and you can find all of the plane incidents. I didn't even report every single one of them. There were other planes that didn't crash, but they had to be deplaned. The passengers had to be deplaned because of fires or electrical smells or something. So is air travel just like no longer safe, or is there something more that's happening? Because it does not add up. It does not make sense. We've had more flight incursions in the past week than we have had in previous months combined in 2024. This is my opinion, but there is something more going on.
Yeah, don't fly right now. Like, if you have the option, yeah, just to be safe. Just to be safe.
This is known as the most convincing case of time travel in the history of the world. Sergei Ponomarenko was just a guy who appeared literally out of nowhere in 2006. He was dressed up in really old clothing, he had this really old looking camera, so he claimed that he was just walking down the street with his girlfriend. They were taking pictures, and he looked up and he saw a UFO. And he saw this giant flash of light when he tried to take a picture, and suddenly he was in the year 2006. So after doing some research into this, the cops were like, you gotta show us some type of proof that you're from the year you say you are. And he said, okay, fine, we'll check the photos on my camera. So there was film in the camera that was undeveloped. When they developed the film, it showed photos of this girl and this guy that it looked like they were taken in the 1950s in Kiev. And so when they were like, okay, who's this girl in the photos? He was like, that's my girlfriend. So they were like, okay, what's her name? They look her up, track her down, and go and talk to her. She's in her 70s at this point, and she was like, he was my boyfriend in the 50s, and one day he vanished.
I've heard that story before, but it's awesome every time you hear it. It's a good story. Have no idea how true it is. It's just a good story.
Want to go to the weenie roast with me tonight?
Oh, yeah.
I think you're Marvy.
Well, actually, I'm Johnny. Johnny Bravo. Well, enough about me. Let's talk about me. What do you think of me?
Okay, so he's a kid, and that's why he's still living with his mom? Why is... He's drawn like a full-grown man. What?
You guys want to hear something terrifying? The Prophecy of the Pope. This book was found in the Vatican archives in the 1500s, and it was authored by, his name was Malachi of Armagh, but this book has 111 cryptic phrases. Basically, it predicted every single pope from in 1143 all the way to our current pope, Pope Francis.
No way.
But the scary thing is, after Pope Francis, the
Uh-oh.
last one, it just says in Judgment Day.
Oh gosh.
It literally ends after Pope Francis?
Yes. The creepiest thing that I saw inside St. Paul's Basilica, like bordering the whole inner sanctuary, is every single pope, like a picture of every single pope. But what's weird is that there's only a certain amount of markers to where you can put a picture. One left after Pope Francis. They have always said that once that last slot is filled, it will be the end of the world. What he predicted and the time it took to go from the first pope that he wrote about to the second halfway mark pope was 422 years. And he's saying from the middle one to the end, another 422 years will be the end of the world. And if you do 422 years from the middle pope, which was 1585, that year is 2027.
Dang!
Pope John the 23rd, he said that the end of the world would happen 2,000 years plus Christ's life. So that adds up to 2027 as well.
I mean, there have been so many like end of world prophecies and like end of days scares at this point that like it's hard to take any of them. It's hard to take any of them seriously, but there's still something about that one gives me chills. It's like, oh, we got 2 years left. All right, noted.
So I'm freaked out. So I always thought that the gifted program in school was for kids who were like super good at math, right? Come to find out, we're finding out collectively now that it was a government-funded program where they scouted kids who had supernatural abilities, like clairvoyant tendencies. And I fell down this TikTok rabbit hole because all of these kids that were in the gifted program are suddenly just like regaining their memory. Like they lost the memory that they had when they were in this program, and all of a sudden all of them are just like waking up at the same time. Like they would give these kids this like weird color drink, and if the kids asked why, they wouldn't explain it. If they asked too many questions, they were kicked from the program. They gave them like this chalky tablet. They put them in a room with like different laser lights and made them like connect the dots. They gave them telepathy tests. They would check their eyes for heterochromia because that's, I guess, like a sign of like supernatural abilities. And so many of the kids that made it through the program, like the whole way from like kindergarten onward or like from high school onward, were scouted by the military for like special ops, like secret intelligence operations. But so many of these kids that went through this program lost the memory of everything that happened completely and then just like woke up. And they would sit them in a room with like headphones, not like the hearing test ones, right? But it would be like, this, like, don't be afraid. Like, you're in the gateway to a new way of living. When I tell you that when I fell down this rabbit hole, it almost sent me into a psychosis. I was one TikTok away from the lamp looking funny. And it's so weird that all of these people are remembering now of all times. Like, now with all of these alien sightings, all this weird stuff going on, they're just, like, remembering. If you were in the program, please comment. Because, I'm free. Like I said, the lamp's looking funny. The lamp's looking a little funny.
So the X-Men could be real? What?
There's a theory that any rapper that comes out with a song called Armed and Dangerous, they die.
No, that's...
Juice WRLD came out with a song, Armed and Dangerous.
But he's still armed and dangerous. He a pop at a stranger.
He passed away.
Yeah.
Pop Smoke came with a song, Armed and Dangerous.
Armed and dangerous. Ain't no pocket.
He passed away. King Von came out with a song, Armed and Dangerous.
Red alert, armed and dangerous. I keep that clock on.
He passed away. Now it gets deeper,
What?
Listen, so Biggie, right? Biggie, he didn't have a song called Armed and Dangerous, but he had a song called Notorious Thugs, right?
Okay.
The first line in the song, Gavin, the first verse, he says,
Armed and dangerous. Ain't too many can bang with us. Straight up, we no angel dust. Label us notorious.
Armed and Dangerous? That phrase, Armed and Dangerous, is deadly for all rappers, bro.
No. Don't make a song. Don't even mention it. Don't say it. If you a musician, don't even say it. What about XXXTentacion? I hate his name so much. I hate it. Anyway, that's the video. Thank you for watching. I appreciate it. I made my beard all poofy and wore a goofy hat and didn't dress up this time. as like I wore a poofy hat and puffed up my beard as a thank you for getting us closer to that 500 goal. And yeah, I don't got anything else. Bye. Why you still watching? Get out of here.